Ladies and gentlemen, come gather round, come gather round, come gather round. Today, we're going to turn this ratty old 45-year-old paint on this Ford F-100 into this. Ain't she a thing of beauty? Woo, look at that, let's go. So this truck came from the Yukon, and the fellow who owned it before us loved this. It was his baby, and he took good care of it. And it's in pretty good shape. And then again, not so much. So the paint stored outside, who knows how long, I don't even remember when it was last driven. We do have a bunch of tree sap stuck on here. I'm gonna see if I can use some alcohol to remove the tree sap. And then if you look kind of closely, if we can make this happen, you can see a bunch of scratches in the paint. And I think it's not so much scratching as either this thing might have been sprayed in lacquer, and lacquer kind of ages like this. So there's quite a bit of curiosity in this paint. We might be able to get rid of it. So I've heard a bit of alcohol can get rid of tree sap. Well, I don't know if this will work. I'm going to try it. I have methyl hydrate. This may not be the best alcohol, but it is an alcohol. Let's try this. Not coming off easily, but the paint sure is. It's goopy. Oh, gross. It's goopy like tree sap. Okay, ramping it up with some isopropyl alcohol. We'll see if that makes a difference. It is coming off. I suspect that part of this is cheap paints to make this look nice, which might explain the cracks. So I did wash this beforehand. You don't want to try to save paint without at least cleaning it. All right, so I'll hit the rest of these boogers and see what comes up. So when we got this truck, the previous owner had with it a bunch of touch-up aerosols. They're often a lacquer-based paint, so that kind of makes me think this is lacquer. One way to find out is to see what happens when we put some lacquer thinner on it, and we can sometimes fix this cracking finish with a bit of lacquer. So we're going to try that. The alcohol, it was coming off. Maybe we can just kind of give this a bit of love. We are not giving it a bit of love with this. Don't put lacquer on your paint. Holy crap. That's aggressive. It's not smoothing it out nicely, man. It's certainly coming off, but it's not hiding those cracks. I'm probably not going to be able to save that, but we're going to find out. Let's try some more. Over here feels really not happy. I'm not sure what's on the paint over here. That's not a happy feeling at all. Well, that's interesting. So I picked up this paint polisher just because I want to see if I can salvage this paint. It came with a bunch of different pads, and from my research, apparently the orange is the roughest, the white is kind of in between, and the black is the gentlest. And if you squeeze them, there's a sort of noticeable difference in their squishiness. This is very squishy, this is less squishy. I'm not sure what to do with this. I think this is the after effect. I'm going to find out, but I'm not going to go through the various different types of chemically polishing, cleaning stuff. I'm just going to go for this one. Not sponsored, just going to try it. It is Ultimate Compound. It says in here it can go from old and busted to new hotness in one fell swoop. And I've done paint finishing where I wash it and then I clay bar it. It's like a thing of like Play-Doh, and you rub it over the paint and it picks up all the impurities. Then you do like the cut polish and then the next kind of polish and then a swirl remover and a glaze, and it takes you all freaking day. And your vehicle looks freaking sexy for about a day and a half until pollution, road grime, debris, bird poo lands on it, and then like nobody even notices that you did that kind of effort. Meanwhile, you're going to physio to fix your arms. So I like the idea of this. I'm going to find out if it works. And since I'm not sure which one to use, I'm going to do the middle one, which is not quite as aggressive, and we'll see how that goes. So I got this. I'm going to move these out of the way. And I'm also going to read the instructions because I don't know what I'm doing. All right, what does it say? Shake well. Dispense a small amount onto a clean buffing pad. Buff one section at a time using overlapping passes. Reapply as needed. Remove stubborn defects. Wipe dry with a microfiber towel or 100% terry cloth towel. Turn to a clean section for final wipe and a show car finish. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? I got eye protection, just in case it goes possibly wrong. So I'm going to lay out some masking tape so I don't accidentally nail the edges of the cowl or the fenders or anything kicking around it, because you can get a little bit aggressive with polishing compounds and stuff, especially on an edge, so try to avoid edges. So I'm going at this, trying to figure out the way I think it should be. Bunch of the Ultimate compound on there and moving it around and figuring out the speeds. This thing has variable speeds, and it was a lot more fun on a faster speed, but I did run it a couple times just to see how it turned out, and it did certainly give it a bit of gloss, but I wasn't totally in love with the whole thing. Couple different tries, and honestly, deep down inside, I'm trying this out in anticipation of dealing with the orange peel and booger nuggets on the recently sprayed paint on my 61 Chevy pickup. Check the link above or to the side or wherever YouTube puts the links now. And we'll see how that goes. It was a bit noisy. I tend to wear ear protection for everything nowadays, just because I want to take care of my ears, because, like, I don't know if you've seen me, but I'm like old. Tried the white one to try and buff this, but I don't think that's the way to go. I think that's just for a different type of whatever you're applying. I don't know. It ended up exploding after polishing that and then running it through the washing machine and then polishing again. So I threw the knitted wool pad or whatever it is in the garbage. I'll probably pick up another one. Here it is. After a couple buffs, you can still see the scratches, but it does have a little bit of reflection in here that's not tremendously awful, but I think I can get this a little bit better with just a little bit more love. But it's definitely an improvement for sure. So with just a polish, I'm not totally happy with this. So I'm going to break out a sander and work my way through a couple layers of sandpaper. Probably start at about 1,000, go 1,500, go 2,000, and see if I can smooth this up a bit more. You can also see a bit of orange peel. Risk, I don't know what kind of paint this is, whether it's original paint or if it is the aerosol from a previous owner, but this could go good or really bad, but I'm going to find out. First, I have some wax and grease remover because I don't want to sand whatever it is I put on here. So yeah, technically I'm removing what I just put on. You might have seen this in a previous video, link up here if you want to check it out. So this sanding kit I picked up off of Amazon. It's got a really squishy kind of intermediate pad, which should stick on here. Interface pad it's called. That makes it really soft and squishy. Starting at 800 and going up to 2,000. I'm nervous, so I'm going to go, I think I'm going to start at 1,000 and see. So I wasn't quite sure how aggressive this was going to be cutting through the paint, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. I don't think you'd do this on really, really good paint. Maybe freshly sprayed. My philosophy with spraying vehicles is to put down enough paint that after I finish sanding off all the defects, I still have paint. So I did 1,000 and then wiped her all off with the wax and grease remover just to get it out of there. And then 1,500, and then again, clean it off for 2,000, and I was pretty pleased. It did make it a whole lot smoother, and it didn't get rid of all the cracks, but it's a lot nicer. So of course we got to break out the compound, but a little bit different. I'm going to go a little bit slower in applying it and then faster in polishing it. So with another application of this, it was okay. I wanted it glossier, but it doesn't seem to be as glossy as I want it. So maybe this is just polishing the turd that I have, and what I need to do is remove the turd. So again, not sponsored, but wouldn't mind to be, though I likely don't go through enough of this product to make it worthwhile. I went up here, and this is like level 1. This is like the first step, removing the turd. And so this is the more aggressive cut polish to cut through all of the pain and defect and suffering. And then I'm going to come back and do this guy. And when I do this one, I'm going to use the more aggressive buffing pad, foam pad, which is the orange one. Then I'm going to come back and use probably the white or the black one, the finer one, to do a final gloss on that, and we'll see how it goes. So if you look online at how people do this, they put like 3 little drops of this stuff on the pad and then gently squish it around the hood or whatever you're polishing, and then on a low speed, and then they kick it up to insanity speed to polish it all in and then wipe it all off. But I don't seem to have, it just didn't seem to work as convincingly to me. So I probably used 100,000 times too much compound, but I'm not complaining about the results that I got doing it this way. So I applied it all over the place, nice and slow, on the slowest speed this thing would do. And then once I went over it a couple times, I kicked the speed up to stupidity and polished that puppy in. Certainly happier with the results, I think. And so, yeah, a little bit more sauce, because why not? If you're looking for really good detailing, I think it's called Ammo NYC, and it's a YouTube channel where they, this is what they do professionally, and it looks awesome, and I very definitely do not want to be a part of doing this professionally. Not for me, thanks. Anyways, polishing it up, moving it around, and I'm trying to go overlap half and half and do about 3 different directions. So like, yeah, 3 kind of crisscrossies. In the end, I believe I did this hood probably twice, I think. Maybe 3 times, or 3 times in a couple areas, just to get it nice and pretty. In a sense, it's kind of therapeutic, because you're making it look good. But on the other hand, you're obsessing over defects, and I can't remove some of these defects. But already you can see an improvement in the finish, just in the cut polish. And then we do the ultimate polish, ultimate compound again. These have a variable speed, and you're going to find the most success, or at least I found the most success, by putting this on minimum for applying the compound first. And once it's suitably covered, crank this up to like 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, like kick it on big to really work that thing through and just kind of make sure you covered every square inch of it. I also liked this. I like how I can push this and lock it so I don't have to hang on to it all the time. I did find when I let go for a second, this thing slows down, and then I hit the trigger again, but it has like a slow startup, so it doesn't sling all of your compound all over the place. It kind of works up to the speed that you've picked. I like that, because things get out of control in my world pretty quick. This was handy getting rid of a whack of defects, especially orange peel. There was quite a bit of that on the paint. It didn't get rid of all the cracks, which I was hoping for, but realistically I don't think you can, just because they go deep. I did like the soft interface pad that I got with that pack of superfine sandpaper. Makes it nice and soft and flexible, but I need to clean these tools off before I put them away. So there it is. You got to watch me figure this stuff out because I haven't really done this kind of aggressiveness before. We sanded it, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 grit. We cut polished it, we polished it. It's looking pretty good and pretty glossy and certainly very acceptable and way better than it used to be, all disastrously death turd and everything. So there it is. Give it a go. Leave a comment down below if you're going to try this on your vehicle. Love to see your results. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.